With summer right around the corner, and presumably the first footage we're going to get to see from Halloween Ends, you had to know that news was going to start trickling out slowly as we approach the finish line. So, what news do I have for you today? Sit tight. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nick at the Lost River Driving, and I'm coming at you today to give you a Halloween Ends update. As you guys know, I am a Halloween guy. Look behind me if you don't believe me. Look through most of my content. This is my bread and butter. So when news drops of Halloween Ends, I'm going to bring it to you because mainly I just want to talk about it. I want to dissect it myself, but I want you guys to hear about it as well if you haven't heard about it and maybe get a feel for how I feel about it. So whatever, that's what we're here to do today. We've got a few updates. Now, a few days ago, Jason Blum took to Twitter and he tweeted that, guess what? I saw Halloween Ends last night. And immediately people were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Are there test screenings going on for Halloween Ends right now? Are we going to start to get some like rumors about it and what this movie is like and what were the initial reactions? Yes and no, okay? Yes, to the sense that test screenings are probably about to start, and you probably will get some leaks and some anonymous people saying general things about the movie. And no, this was not a public test screening for the press or for anything like that. To my knowledge, to what's been reported on, this was a private test screening with basically Blumhouse execs and studio execs, Jason Blum, probably cast and crew maybe. I wouldn't say it was a full scale like auditorium filled with people, but it was probably a smattering of higher up people with Blumhouse, Universal, and maybe some of the crew on the film. Again, this was also a rough cut. The cut that was shown as a rough cut. This is not going to be the cut that ends up on theater screens in 4 months. This is, commonplace. This is, I guess I should say 5 months. Wow, I'm getting ahead of myself. Come on, nerd. This is commonplace for movies, just film in general. You're going to have assembly cuts and rough cuts that the higher ups are going to see, and they're going to give you feedback on what they like, what they don't like, what should be trimmed down, what might need to be added, all of that stuff. I will say, there is no word after this, a few days later, that reshoots are on the horizon. As far as I know, this movie, very similarly to Halloween Kills, although Kills did have, I think a few days, but seems like they're pretty happy with this rough cut, and they're not really going to tweak a ton. So obviously, I can't really speak to any more about that, but no, test screenings in full haven't started yet, but the first private test screening did start. Now, there is a leaker that I follow on Twitter. I started following this guy because of Spider-Man No Way Home. Leading up to the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, appearing in the movie, he was the guy that was giving me info for over a year about their inclusion. And so I've continued to follow him. And his Twitter handle is ViewerAnon. And he tweeted the other day, and this is interesting. So we're going to go through this tweet and we're going to talk about what it might mean. So in his tweet, he says, "No public test screening has happened for Halloween Ends yet. What I know of the script is interesting if it matches what they shot. You can expect a very different kind of Halloween. A complete swerve from the scale and carnage of Kills." So what do we take from that? Well, what I take from this is what we have been kind of theorizing for almost a year now. Halloween Ends seems like this is going to be a very small scale contained movie, very similar to the feel of the original Halloween. Now, whether they come close to even touching that feel, that's another debate, but it seems to me that this is going to be a very contained story that is about the culmination of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers' 40-year-long feud, essentially, and Michael's, I guess, I don't know what he's done to the town. And it's a culmination of everything. It's tying up all these loose ends. Everything will be answered, but it's not going to be an all-out murder spree like Halloween Kills or even at times Halloween 2018. So for me, that gets me pretty excited because that is definitely a different wheelhouse than, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride have played in thus far. Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills were not like that. And for somebody in the industry, and this is not the only person that has said this, leaking these things saying this is going to be quite a reversal of tone and just style from the previous movies, it makes me intrigued because I don't want this trilogy to feel the same all the way throughout. I want some differences, some variations. So I'm very excited about that. Now we got one last piece of news to go over, and that last piece of news is what Jude Courtney said at a convention last week. I think it was called Spookala. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You know, God forbid I say it wrong and people come for my head. But this is very interesting, and I'm going to put this up on the screen for you too, and we are going to parse this thing out too. Halloween Ends. Jude Courtney explains why the film's finale is his favorite scene. When we shot the finale with Laurie Strode in the Shape, we walked off to the side to talk about what we were about to do, Courtney told attendees, and during that conversation we both had tears streaming down our cheeks. It was deeply emotional from a multitude of reasons. I would say for a multitude of reasons, but whatever. Courtney continued, but for her, this is the culmination of 42 years of something she's carried with her entire life. The gravity of that situation played into what you guys will see, and I think you'll see why, when you see Halloween Ends, why this is my favorite scene. So, what are we taking from this? Well, how many different people involved with this film have tipped us off about how this movie's going to end, or how certain things are going to be wrapped up, how it's going to be surprising, how it's going to be emotional, how it's going to be deep. Jamie Lee has said things like that. Nick Castle, now Jude Courtney. What am I taking from this? Well, he says that they both were very emotional, like visibly emotional, before filming this scene. Somebody's dying, guys. I mean, it's just happening. If this were going to follow the Blumhouse formula, I would think they'd go the route of, Laurie Strode survives and she wins, and, you know, she's the final girl at the end of the day, and it's a happy, hunky-dory story. If it's going to go the way it should, they both die. Personally, I think they both die. I think that she has to realize that the only way to take him out for good is to make sure that, you know, she might die in the process, but she's going to make sure he's done. That's how I think it needs to go. But someone is dying. And if I had to put my money on it, the odds are Michael is definitely dying. Is Laurie going with him? I don't know. I really don't know, and I don't know if we can accurately say based off of all the information that we have. But it's nice to know that the people involved with this movie, you know, pretty much all of them have spoken about it at this point, have talked about how impactful this movie's going to be for this story, for these characters. So obviously they're paid to say things like that because, you know, this is their movie. But I just feel like with it being some kind of resolution, whether it's resolution we like or not, there is going to be resolution there. And I don't know, that's kind of exciting to look forward to. A difference in tone, a difference in feel, a difference in storytelling. I don't know. I'm excited for it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section about everything that we discussed in today's video. Are you excited for Halloween Ends? Are you just ambivalent? Are you like, no, I hate this movie. No, God, I haven't even seen it, but it's going to be terrible. Whatever it is, let me know down in the comment section below. Please leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check me out on social media and patreon.com. And that's going to do it for me today. So this is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I am pulling out.